Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a fun video today because I was going to include this in a vlog that I'm filming at the moment, but I thought I've actually bought quite a lot of books recently, so I thought I could do a little haul video for you guys. I know I really love watching these videos, so I feel like some of you might want to see what books I bought recently, and yeah, I feel like we should just get straight into it. So the first two books I want to talk about are ones that I have already read, but I wanted to get the physical copy. So we obviously have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've talked about this quite recently in my favorite books of 2024 video. I just love this book so much, and I have not bought this since it came out because it did come out in hardcover, and I understand why authors are doing this. Like, I think it is the publishing companies definitely pushing for that, but it's very annoying, and I'm just making myself not buy these hardcovers when they come out, especially when they're in a series. I know that this is obviously not a series, but it's still, I want it to match with the other books by Emily Henry, so I refused to buy the hardcover. So I finally got the paperback. This is a really good book. I'd highly recommend. You can watch my video that I just talked about if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this book, but I really recommend. And then the other book that I've already read was We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lange. This is a mystery book, but it kind of follows more like literary fiction storyline, I would say. I can't really remember the plot of this book, not gonna lie, I read it a very long time ago, but it's about an Irish American family. They live in Chicago, and the main character, I can't remember her name, Sunday. It kind of follows Sunday. She's having a bit of a crisis and she goes back home, and there's like financial stuff going on in the family, and like I think stuff to do with like wills, and also I think she's going through like a big breakup or something like that. Something along those lines. And she goes back and her high school sweetheart is there, and it kind of follows that kind of vibe. It's a good book. I would recommend it. I gave it 3.5 stars when I read it. It's quite short as well. I can't really remember much else about it, but I bought it because I feel like I might want to reread it again because I don't remember it at all. But yeah. Oh, and also I did buy this at 66 Books, which a few of the other books later on I'll show you were also from there. Okay, this is so heavy, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to talk whilst I hold this up, but I don't think I'm not going to be able to hold this very well. But I got the Throne of Glass series. I got it in Costco because apparently Costco is going to stop selling their books soon, and they do it for a really good price. So I did buy it, and I knew that I wanted to read Throne of Glass this year. So yeah, I just bought it and I've started reading it. I'm really loving it. I've started Assassin's Blade first. And you might see that in the video coming up soon. Okay, so now we're going to get into the books that I did buy from 66 Books Warehouse, which is a book warehouse just outside of London. If you're from the UK, you might have heard of it, and also you might have seen like TikToks about it if you're from elsewhere. It's basically just a book warehouse, and 2 weekends a month it sells books to the public at 70% off the retail value of the books. And I have been a few times now. I think I've been like 4 or 5 times. Every single time I do get like at least 5 books. They do switch it up quite often, so I do recommend going there. Just remember that it's 2 weekends a month, like the rest of the week and the other weekends you're not going to be allowed to go in. But yeah, I love going there. I go there with my mum and my dad often because they both love to read as well. These are the books I got from there, including We Are the Brennans, and yeah, I got 11 books and I was very happy with all of them. So I think I'm going to start with the like not romance books, which I bought a lot, and I know I've been saying recently that I'm not really a romance reader anymore, but I still bought romance, so I don't know. So I kind of went in with like some knowledge of what books might be there just from TikToks I'd seen from earlier in the month and last month, and I did manage to find almost all of them. There was 2 books that I really wanted that I knew were probably going to be there, and I saw other people with them in their baskets, but I had to leave because I was working at 12, so I didn't really have time to go and like ask them and go and find them, and it was fine because I bought 11 books, so like I really don't need more than that. But yeah, so I did get quite a few books that I wanted, but this was one that I didn't know they were going to have, and I was really surprised to see. It's The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This is, I believe, like a magical realism mystery kind of book. I remember seeing loads of people talk about it last year, and it's been in hardcover for a long time. So that's kind of why I was really surprised. I didn't know that it'd come out in paperback, but I could only assume that it's only been out in paperback for, let's say, 6 months or something like that. So I was very surprised to see this in the warehouse. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to read this. I've had this on my TBR for so long, and the cover is so pretty. I really love that cover. And yeah, I feel like this is one that I might read soon because I think it's based in like North or South Carolina, so it's got some summery vibes, although the sun is kind of going now, which is sad. And then this was another one in the same boat where I've only seen it out in like hardcover, and I did know that this came out in paperback, but I just hadn't got it yet. And it's A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. I think that's how you say her name. I really don't like how this is shiny, and I just hate that on book covers, but the spine makes up for it. It's so pretty. And yeah, again, this is quite a new release, so I was really surprised to see it. It's a romancy. It might be a bit young adult. I'm not too sure, but I've seen a lot of people talk about it quite highly. Especially, I think Alexa Ray was like one of the first people I saw talking about it. I'm really excited to read this one. And again, another one that I was not expecting to see was The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This is like a literary fiction, I believe. Yeah, I think it's like a literary fiction, maybe a bit young adult. It's kind of giving me Inheritance Games vibes. I don't think it's very similar to Inheritance Games in terms of like it's a game, I think. Yeah, I feel like this one's talked about quite a lot. Really surprised to see that in there. And then the other book I found, which I was also quite surprised about, was My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. This has been out for quite a few years now, I'm pretty sure, but it's been on my TBR like since it came out. And one of my best friends read it and she quite liked it. And she's not much of a reader. I've been wanting to read it basically, and I was surprised to see it in there just because it's still quite popular, even though it has been out for a little while. I love the cover of this as well. It was so pretty. And I'm just really intrigued to see what she has to say about like womanhood, especially because she's got such a unique point of view on that. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. So then on to the more romance books. The first book which I did see that I knew I wanted to get was How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwang. This is a book that I saw Hayley talk about maybe last summer, and she really liked it. I think the author is working with Emily Henry on the People Meet on Vacation movie, so that was why Hayley picked it up, I'm pretty sure, and that's a good enough reason for me to pick it up because obviously I love Emily Henry and she's got her own little quote at the top there. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this. No idea what it's about. I want to go in pretty blind to it. And it's got a Reese's Book Club pick, which is really good as well. The next book I was probably most excited to find because I had no idea it was going to be there. And I've literally just been ranting in my top books of 2024 about how much I love Annabelle Monaghan and how I want to read more of her books this year. And they did have Nora Goes Off Script there, but obviously I've read that. And they had like 10 copies of Same Time Next Summer. And luckily I was one of the first people like in the warehouse, so I just grabbed it as soon as I saw it. I am so excited to read this. I'm definitely reading this summer. I don't know what else to say because I feel like I've been not ranting because I feel like that's negative, but Annabelle Monaghan is like probably one of my favourite authors, like maybe second after Emily Henry, and I've only read one of her books. I feel like I'm just going to read all her books for the rest of time. This is just another literary romance kind of book, obviously set in summer. Again, just want to go in blind. I like going in pretty blind to romances because obviously they kind of follow the same storyline to an extent. So I kind of don't want to know like the full storyline before going in. I was so excited for this. This is probably my favourite book of all the ones I've got in this video. This was another two books that I did see on TikTok, and it's Before I Let Go and This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. These are books I feel like have been talked about for about a year now. I'm not sure when the first one came out, but I know the third one came out like recently or is like coming out very soon. And yeah, just recently I've seen a lot more people talking about it, especially Sarah, I'm pretty sure, was talking about them. But I've heard really good things about these books and I love the covers. They're so pretty. And yeah, I feel like these I'm gonna like. I know I've literally just said, and I keep saying I'm not into romances as much at the moment, but I have heard that these books have like external kind of things going on. I think one of them is going through divorce, maybe, or like issues with her husband or her ex-husband. And definitely one of them has kids. I'm not sure which book it is or if it's a new book. And then they're all friends. So there's obviously that dynamic as well. So I feel like it could be good. They are quite long, but I feel like I'm going to like them because there is an aspect outside of the romance to them. Then this one, I honestly don't really know why I picked it up. I feel like I will read it at some point. So I don't regret it. But yeah. It's Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I have, I think, two books. Yeah, I have two books by Ellie Hazelwood on my physical TBR. I've got Checkmate and Love on the Brain, which I also got from 66 Books like a year ago or over a year ago, and I just haven't read them, and I've never really felt drawn to read them, so that's why I'm not really sure why I picked this up. I feel like I will read Checkmate because that's got like a fun little other storyline, but I'm just not sure if I'm gonna like Love on the Brain, and I've just been putting it off. So Not in Love is just, I'm pretty sure, another kind of STEM romance by Ali Hazelwood. But I will say I really love the cover. So even if I never read it, I love the cover. But yeah, I got Not in Love. And then the final book I'm gonna show you is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I was so surprised to see this in the warehouse. I don't know, like maybe they've changed their like stock. I don't really know how to describe it, but normally they only really have books that have already been like paperback published or whatever published for over a year, maybe even 2 years. But there was a lot in there that had been more recently published. And this is obviously one of them. I'm pretty sure this was last year because there's been the third one come out recently, and I have the first one on my shelf to read. So I saw this and I was like, I might as well get it because it's so much cheaper than it will be anywhere else, even though I probably won't read it for like a year at this rate. And by then it probably will be just as cheap. But yeah, I was really surprised to see this. It was also kind of hiding, and I feel like this was like the jackpot of the day, even though Same Time Next Summer was the one that I really wanted. So yeah, Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the, I think it's called the Rose Hill series. I'm sure you guys probably know more about it than me. And obviously, I have just DNF'd Hopeless by Elsie Silver, which is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. And I haven't read any since my last video where I talked about it, but I will keep updating you because I do plan to finish it by the end of April. No promises, but we'll see. And then hopefully I can just go straight into Wild Love whenever I feel in the mood for that. But I do have other cowboy romances like I have done and dusted that I do want to read, so we'll have to see. But anyway, those are all the books that I got. A lot of them were from 66 Books, obviously. I was gonna try and hold these up, but I don't think I can. I'm not that strong. But yeah, those are all the books I got. I'm really happy with all of them. Look out for my next video because that will be a really fun reading vlog. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the reading vlog.